Hey y'all, it's Diamond.
Hey y'all, it's Shay.
Yo, it's Jasmine, and welcome to New Age Mamas. What's up,
Woo!
y'all?
Hey y'all.
Welcome
Today
back.
we have a special episode. It's our 50th episode. Woo, woo. Look, we got a 50th episode. We got a guest. We
Right?
up.
Okay.
Look at us.
You
Who would have
feel me?
thought?
Who would have thought? And we got a meetup next weekend. Look, we got
Yes, we got
August
something
is
special
rolling.
coming for y'all.
I love it. I can't believe we got 50 episodes, y'all.
50
Yeah.
It's
episodes.
been rough.
But we've been consistent.
We
That's a good
have.
thing.
We do this as full-time moms, full-time workers. Like, it's not easy. We do this, it's just the three of us. We don't have no help. So it
Mhm.
is a big task, but we dedicate it and we get it done.
And we tired. Now, but
Sad.
we gonna try to do some good,
Yeah.
have some good stuff coming for y'all. We got a lot of ideas. We just gotta execute now.
Yeah.
Execute. So
Like we talked about last episode, we entering into toddlerhood is definitely different than the newborn and young baby stage. So we got activities we doing. We're getting them into school and stuff now. Things our time is gonna shrink a little bit more. So be patient. We got good things coming.
yes, y'all got a quick update before we get into our interview.
Nope, I'm ready to hop in.
That this is a first for Diamond. Diamond usually
Yeah.
got us an update.
Update. Still looking for a job.
It's gonna come. It's gonna come.
Still on my job search. But yeah.
Jazz,
I'm
what about you, girl? Come on now.
No, I don't really have a. I don't have an update.
now that's a first. About
Nah,
me.
ain't nothing like it's saying, plotting, planning, trying to execute. That's all I got. Look, I don't really. It's nothing new this week. I feel like we did our episode late last week. I don't remember, but nah, nothing's new. The kids are growing, talking, and it's amazing. So yeah, nothing new for me. What about you, Shay?
Nothing. Honestly, just trying to recover from July. July was a lot.
Hey, July went by fast, but okay. Well, since look, we ain't got no updates, we'll go ahead and to our guest.
Hold
So
on, Kayla. You got anything going on real
yeah,
quick?
Kayla, you got anything going on? Anything new? Anything you want to share? What's going
Like
on
I
this
know we
week?
finna get into it, but a little quick like update on how you doing. How's your day?
Uh, my day was pretty good. I did some grocery shopping. Um,
Okay, grocery shopping.
yes, and we just trying to finalize everything for this house. So we're supposed to move in Friday. So
Oh
Oh, y'all
yeah.
moved in Friday. Oh, it's
yeah, so
lit.
we gonna see. We gonna see.
Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you have like your Canva like mood boards of how you want each room so far? Or you just going in there like and then thinking about how you want to decorate?
Right.
I got some slight visions, but I'm like, I don't want to spend too much at once. So I'm like, okay, I need to figure out what I want to tackle first and then go from there. But
That's a
definitely
lot. That
got some visions.
exciting.
I know. I'm like, I'm excited, but not to spend money. I ain't excited about that part.
Right.
And move.
Right.
So that's a lot. That's exciting. We gonna get into that in the episode. We gonna get into it. All right, y'all. Meet Kayla, a woman of deep faith, a devoted wife, and a loving mother of three girls, by the way. Beyond beyond these cherished roles, she is also a skilled therapist and wears many other hats in her life. Kayla's remarkable ability to balance motherhood with her various titles makes her an inspiration to all who know her. Meet Kayla.
Woo-hoo.
Welcome,
Hi,
Hey,
Like my
Kayla.
Kayla.
bio?
y'all.
Y'all like my bio? I did that.
Yeah.
Girl.
Come on now.
Get Jazz her props, y'all.
You know me?
Yeah.
I did that.
Giving writer. Okay.
Right.
With a little help of AI, but it things happen. Okay.
Not the artificial intelligence. I feel that.
You feel me? You feel me? But look, speaking of, since look, the mother of three girls, could you share a little bit? Start us from the beginning when you first found out she was pregnant. Well, also tell us the age of your kids.
So they are 4, 2, and 3 months. So they literally like some stair steps. They right there, but man.
Oh yes, I bet. So how did you feel in the beginning of like when you first found out you were pregnant? I'm gonna just give also a little information. Like Kayla was not in a different state. She was not in her state, not in her hometown, not around their family and friends, her and her husband. So yeah, like how did you find out how did you feel when you first found out you were pregnant and that y'all were far away from home?
Yeah, so when I first found out the first time around, I was so scared. Like I was in denial, I was scared. I was just like, this is not happening to me. Like we had just got married a couple months before and literally like he had been telling me like you're pregnant and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like, no.
He
And
knew
so he was
before
just like,
you did.
yes. He like, just take a test. I'm like, no, because you're crazy. Like, no, no. So I literally went and I took it and I was like, oh my God. And so it was just like so many emotions. Like Jasmine said, we was far away. We were in Hawaii. So literally we across the ocean, like no family, limited friends that we just getting to know. So it's just like, okay, how we gonna do this by ourselves pretty much. But we figured it out.
So were
But
you
yeah, it
guys
was
living in Hawaii or it was just a visit? Like,
yeah, we were living there. We were both in the military, so we were
okay.
stationed there. Yeah.
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
How long ago? This was 5 years ago. So I was 25.
Dang,
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I feel like
I know.
were you also the first of your friends to have children?
No. Um, I had two close friends that already had kids,
Okay.
but yeah.
So wow. So how did you feel about the other two? So you were already nervous and dealing with a lot of emotions because you were so far away. You were shocked. You were obviously in denial. You didn't want to take a test. So how did you feel about finding out about the other two?
The second one, my 2-year-old, it was kind of the same thing. Like he told me, like, you pregnant, and I was like, no, I'm
Again?
not.
You know, every time.
Right. And he was like, you doing the same thing you did the first time. I'm like, he might be right. But the crazy part about the second time is I talked to a pastor on the phone. This was somebody that one of my friends connected me to. So I never seen her in person or anything. We just talked on the phone. And we were getting off the phone and she started praying. And she was just like, God, prepare her body for this journey she's about to go through. And I'm like, she's scaring me. I'm like, okay, this pastor a little crazy. So literally the next morning I woke up and I was just throwing up. I was feeling so sick. And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. He like, I told you you pregnant. And so I went to the ER and I was like, yeah, something wrong with me. And they're like, could you be pregnant? I'm like, no. And so
The
they took
deny.
right. They took the test and they like, you are indeed 8 weeks pregnant.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
wow.
So yeah, so that was a little different, but he still was telling me like, you are.
Okay, and what about
Well,
the third?
right. Was you in
And
denial again?
the third time, she shocked us both. Neither one of us knew.
Really?
And yeah, she shocked us both. And I can't even remember how I ended up taking the test for the third time. By that time, I was just like, okay, all right, here we go again. So I think the third time she shocked us both, but it was just like, okay, we did this twice.
How many
So
We
wait,
weeks were you when you found out the third time?
when I found the third time, I was still pretty early. It was like 5 weeks, so it's a little bit
Okay.
earlier. But
that's great.
You
yeah.
weren't in no
So
pack.
wait, with girls, like, were you trying for a boy?
I definitely would. And each time I was convinced I was having a boy. I was like, I know it's a boy this time. Because people be like, with a boy, like you don't have like no symptoms, you feel good. Like I was like, oh, this a boy for sure. No.
Girl,
That
girl,
is
girl.
not true either. Cause with a boy, I had a boy and I thought I was dying. I
Me
thought I
too,
was.
and I
Ooh,
was having a girl. So I
I,
feel like
yeah.
it don't.
this is just with both genders.
Right.
Yeah, and I feel like it doesn't
Oh, I'm
matter.
gonna
If
just
it,
go in here and
I
pop
really
this
think it
baby
depends
out.
on your
Like
body and
it's gonna be
The
cool.
the
person.
pregnancy.
But no. When
Yeah.
when
Hmm.
I actually got there, I was 5 centimeters
Okay,
dilated,
so
and they were
now
monitoring me for like
after
an
finding out you were
hour.
pregnant, now
Then
you're
they
going
came
into
back and they were
labor
like,
3 different
"Oh,
times.
whenever you
So were
contract,
there
like
any
her
like
heart rate
particular
isn't, excuse
challenges
me, y'all,
that you
her
knew
heart
coming
rate isn't
into
going up or
labor
down.
that
It's
you
just
had,
staying
or
consistent. So they're
were
like, we
there
don't like
any like
that.
unexpected
Like it
moments
could put her
during
in
labor?
distress. And so they're like, we need you to start thinking about a C-section. And I was like, oh, I know I don't want that. Like, I don't want no C-section. They're like, well, you have to keep her safe, so just think about it. So I'm like, okay. So they left, they came back, and they pretty much said the same thing. Like, her heart rate isn't changing. Like, so now we want to prep for a C-section. I'm like, no, I don't want a C-section. And they're like, well, you need to do it. Like, she could not live and all this other stuff. And mind you, this is my first time, and it's just me and my husband. So we're like, okay, we scared now. Like, we need to just listen to the doctors, do what they tell us to do. So I just went ahead and I'm like, okay, let's just do the C-section. So we get in the operating room for them to start the C-section. And they were numbing me, but I guess that it didn't kick in all the way. And so they started cutting me. And I was literally screaming on the table. I'm like, I can feel this. Like, I feel y'all cutting me. And they're just like, just calm down. I'm like, how can I be calm? Like, I can feel you cutting my stomach open. And so, yeah, that was just the worst experience ever. Like, I felt them cutting me. They were telling me be quiet. It was a lot. But we just like, okay, we just want, yeah. And like, they weren't listening. They were just like, let's just get this over with. Like, yeah. And so it was just hard because it was like, it was just us two. And we in this military hospital at that. We can't sue them.
Oh my.
So we just like, okay. Yeah. So, yeah. And I was in the military, I was a medic. So I worked with physicians. And so I know most of them don't know what they're doing. They like researching stuff as they go. So I'm just
Man, I
like,
relate
okay.
to that so much
Yeah.
too.
So yeah, it was the first time it was tragic to say the least. Um,
Okay, Kayla. So, like, with the challenges with your second pregnancy coming around, like, how did you cope with that? And did you have any support along the way? And how was that for you?
uh, hoping. I feel like I just kind of pushed it to the side and was just like, okay, this is just what we do as mothers. Like we just take everything thrown at us and keep going. So I don't even feel like I really took the time that I needed to actually cope with it. I was just like, I just got to keep going. But I would definitely say like my husband was a good support system. Like he men, they do as much as they can, but but he definitely be like there, trying to support me and he like whatever you need help with. So I would definitely say he's a big part.
So, were you guys still stationed the second time?
No, we had just moved back to Chicago.
Okay.
So when we moved back, I was like 6 months, 7 months.
Okay.
So
But so all your family stays in Chicago. So was your support there?
yeah, but my mom, she stays like 45, 50 minutes from me. So like she's there, but yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little distance. And my and my mother-in-law, she's another big help as well. Like she take the girls to school every day. So
Oh, that's so nice. That's a
yeah,
big
yeah.
help.
Yeah.
Definitely. Especially like trying to unload all three, it'd be yeah.
Yeah. I'd
So
be like, nah, we ain't coming to the event.
yeah.
We not
I see
coming.
you when I see you.
For
But
real.
quick question about your coping, especially since you're being a therapist now. Do you look back and wish, like, do you look back and be like, okay, this is how I should have coped with it, or this is how I can cope with it now? Like, do you have any tips or skills for people who had traumatic pregnancies and labors and deliveries to actually cope with those skills?
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely say like I wish I would have like talked about it at that time, but definitely I need to find a new therapist because that's a whole nother story, but but yes, definitely just talking about it. I definitely feel like that's the biggest part. Just as women and especially black women, I feel like we hold in a lot of stuff. So I definitely feel like we need to talk about different things and not be worried about like how we gonna be perceived or like how people are gonna judge us. And just even if you don't like talk to your friends about it, definitely getting a therapist or a pastor or somebody you trust to just be like, okay, how can I get a non-biased opinion about something or somebody to just listen to me? And I would definitely say like support groups as well. Like there are people just like you. Like even though you think like my situation might be unique and it is. I'm not taking that away from anybody. Like everybody's different, but there are people that went through similar things like you. Just like Shay said, her delivery experience was traumatic as well. And it's like, okay, that's something we can connect about. It's something we can talk about eventually when we're both in that space. So definitely, I would say support groups and just reaching out to different people and being like, okay, how can I help you? How can you help me? And just support each other.
Yeah. And
Nice.
y'all heard Kayla, right? She said she's looking for another therapist, and she is a therapist. Like therapists need therapy
Yes.
too.
I
Yes,
love it.
definitely. If your therapist don't have a therapist,
Yeah.
You like, they ain't right.
yeah, they ain't right. So I definitely
Now,
got to get back right for my clients.
Hmm.
now I did want to point out because I felt similarly, like just how you were talking about advocating for yourself, but still feeling like ultimately you went along with what the doctors said was best.
Mhm.
Do you have any advice for just like mothers who may be expecting or going through it where they feel like maybe they don't have a voice? Do you have any advice to, I guess, encourage people to advocate for themselves?
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely say research, research, research. Like, for whatever reason, my third time around, I was very like reluctant to the whole C-section thing. I was like, I'm not doing it again. Like,
So you had to do it for the second one too, as well, the C-section.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And so the third time around, I was just like researching heavy, and I found like a lot of stuff where they would use like the C-section calculator. And so they were like, okay, you're black, that's a point against you. You had a C-section before, that's a point against you.
Wow.
Because I had two C-sections, that was even worse. So nobody really wanted to take me on as a patient and delivering my baby natural because I had two C-sections already. And so just me researching and being like, okay, I'm reaching out to all these different doctors. I ended up contacting a doula. Her name is Jasmine. She was great. Like her company is called Amir's Angel. So definitely y'all.
Oh.
But yes, like I contacted her. She like helped me with everything. She was just like, if I don't have the answer, I will find it for you. Like she was just very helpful and like just being heavy, excuse me, being heavy in faith and being like, okay, I'm just gonna pray about it. All my friends that are good in faith, I had them praying for me. Like so, definitely, if you are a person of faith, I would just say just pray about it. Just talk to God about it. Like He hears you. He know what you want, and definitely like the third time around, I definitely saw like just leaning on God. That's what kept me going. Like, oh, definitely.
Nice. So when you found your doula, you just did this off of like Google searching and Instagram searching. You didn't even know her before hiring her.
So I knew her. She went to Western.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, and so I knew her, but I didn't know she was a doula. Um, you know how Instagram tells you like people you may know, and she popped up on there, and in her bio it said doula, and I was like, that's interesting. Like, okay, I'm just gonna add her to see, and I started going through like her Facebook page, and then I just messaged her, and I was like, I just had a couple questions, and she like, absolutely, like. And so she was asking me questions that I didn't even think of. She was just like, "Where did they cut you in your C-section? Was it high or low?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so
That's
I
something to
actually,
consider.
yeah, and so I actually asked my OBGYN at one of my appointments, and she was just like very like, yeah, I don't know. Like,
Nonchalant.
yeah, I'm like, okay. And so I actually went back in my file myself and looked at everything. And I was telling the doula, like, it says low. And she was like, oh, that's great. She's like, that means you can have like a VBAC. And, so just her affirming me was like the extra push that I needed. And I was like, okay, like, I know I could do this. Like, all our ancestors had all these kids and they wasn't having C-sections like this. So I'm like, God, you know what I want. So it happened.
And he
So what happened with
delivered.
the third? So the third you were able to push.
Hmm.
So did you prefer the pushing? Like now this you are our first guest that basically had both. So which one did you
Yeah.
end up like preferring?
I would definitely say I would do the natural again. Definitely. I feel like the recovery from the C-sections are very hard and it's like
Yeah.
it's unnecessary to me. So
Mhm.
definitely experiencing like a natural birth, it was just I don't even know how to explain it. It was definitely like euphoric and just like you definitely be in tune with yourself, your body, just trusting yourself and being like, okay, let me do what my body was designed to do. Like, and so you definitely have to lean in heavy on that and just focusing on you. And so, yeah, it was a whole different experience.
Well,
I
that's
love that. That gives
good.
me hope.
Yes, girl, you can do it. Definitely.
Because that's my biggest fear. Like, knowing that once you have that C-section again, the possibility of them continuing you down that path is
Mm,
a lot greater.
yeah.
And I want that. I want to have a natural birth and know what that feel like. It is hard. Like, I couldn't walk upstairs for so many weeks, at
Yeah.
first, and it was nothing but stairs in my path around. So, you know, I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah, definitely.
For real. Did your doula come to the hospital with you on the third time?
No, so I didn't have her come. She actually lives in Wisconsin. And
Okay.
so when I had the baby, it happened so quick. Like, so they scheduled me to have a C-section on the 21st of April. And I was like, I feel it didn't sit right with me, but I was like, okay. I'm like, if I carry the baby until the 21st, I'll go ahead and have the C-section. But in the meantime, I was praying every day. I'm like, God, I
Yes.
do not want to have the C-section. So I'm like, if I go into labor before the 21st, then I'm gonna go to a different hospital and just try to push. But if she stays to the 21st, I'm gonna go ahead and have a C-section. So literally the morning that she was born on the 18th, this is 3 days before my
Oh
scheduled
wow.
C-section. Yes. Like I woke up, it was like 4 a.m. and I couldn't go back to sleep, so I'm just strolling on Instagram. And then I'm like, okay. I'm like, let me look and see um like some ways to go into labor. Like at this point, I'm thirsty. I'm like, I just want to have this back. So they telling me like, yeah, get you a ball, get to walking. I'm like, it's 4 a.m. I'm not doing nothing. And so I went back to sleep, and then I woke up. It was like 6, and I'm like, okay. So then I kept having to go to the bathroom. Like I wasn't doing anything, but I just kept having to sit on the toilet. I'm like, it don't feel right getting up.
That was the same for me. It just felt better.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, I done did this twice before. Like, I already know what's going on at this point. And so then I was telling my husband, like, okay, you need to wake up because it's feeling like the first 2 times. Like, you need to wake up. And so I stood up and literally my water just started leaking. And I was like, yeah, this is real. So the first 2 times they had to break my water bag both times.
Mm.
And so this time it just broke on its own, and I'm like, okay, like,
Come on, faith in God.
Yeah,
Come on,
right.
yes,
faith. You
yes,
got to
and
put him in everything that you do.
literally, like, literally, this is just another random day to me, but literally, like, my water leaking. So we getting ready. My mother-in-law came over to get the kids ready to go to school. And we in the car, and he like, okay, which hospital you want to go to? So I was originally going to Elmhurst, and so they're a low risk hospital. So they were like, we're not doing the VBAC. Like we could tell you that we're not doing it. I was just
Wow.
like, okay, yeah. And so I had called around to like Northwestern. I had my second baby at Loyola, so I knew I didn't want to go back there. Um, so I called Northwestern. They were like, well, you're too far along. Like we don't want to take you. And so he was like, okay, where do you want to go? So we researched the top 3 hospitals in Chicago. And then we were deciding between the University of Chicago and Rush. And so I was like, well, which one closer? Like we here. And so we went to Rush. Literally when I got there and they checked me, I was 9 centimeters dilated.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no epidural, you passed that point.
All
Yeah,
right.
baby, you about to have this
Push.
baby. You was about to have it
Yes.
in the car.
Right.
Right. And so they asked me like, okay, do you want another C-section? That was the first question they asked me, and I was like, no. And the doctor was like, okay, well, let's have this baby. And like,
Okay.
literally, like, we started pushing, and yeah, it just happened so fast.
How long did you push?
Like 40 minutes. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
you a trooper. I would have been.
Yes.
So I didn't even know that you could, like, if it wasn't like I'm about to have this baby right now. I didn't know that you had an option to just like, oh no, I don't want to go to that hospital. I want to go to a
Yeah.
different hospital. I didn't know you had an option to just change up the day of or the week of if you wanted to.
So they say like you shouldn't because that hospital has like all your records and all that stuff. But at that point, I was just like, I don't care. Like, y'all not trying to work with me and give me what I want. Y'all just like, we can tell you we're not doing that. So I was like, okay, well,
I'm
God
not
answered
coming.
me. So I've been leaning on God all this time. So I'm keep on leaning. And we gonna go somewhere else. And
I,
literally like, and so after I had her, I ended up researching the doctor. Her name was Dr. Madeline Starks, and I will never forget her. And after I looked her up, she specializes in like ectopic pregnancies and like high risk pregnancies and all of that. So I was like,
look at God.
God.
that is like everything literally aligned. So when I tell y'all like trust in God, like I'm like pushing that heavy, heavy, heavy. Like
You like give it to us because that goes into my next
Right.
question. We were sure about to say like for people who are building a new relationship with God or people who feel like they're too far away and they don't know what to do. Like, what do you think? You know, you said you started praying and you just started. You know, you just started. Like, what advice
mhm.
would you give somebody who's either new or it feels like they stray too far, but they want to come back to God?
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely say just keep believing. Like I would honestly say in the beginning, I questioned like faith a lot, and I was like, how do I know God is real? How do I know the Bible is real? Like I definitely had those questions, and just continuing to talk to Him. I talk to Him like a normal person. I'd be like, God, you know, like so. I definitely, I definitely feel like just not making it seem like it's a task or like it's an uncomfortable feeling, but just talking to him like he your best friend because he should be one of your best friends. And I think by me like realizing that and just having like different experiences in my life, like it could be like, okay, you got a degree, you getting this job, and it's like at the end of the day, like it's God. And so I definitely feel like you never too far gone. Of course, if you have questions, like really just zone in and be like, okay, how can I answer these questions myself? How can I reach out to other people to answer these questions for me? Like, who do I know that's big in their faith as well that can help me? One of my good friends, Ray Vaughn, like he is very, very, very good and he's like deep in faith. He's like in the church. And so anytime like I'm struggling with like a scripture around like something I need to pray about, anytime I'm like feeling a certain type of way, I definitely reach out to him for him to like pour into me. And so I definitely would say if you're trying to get closer to like Christ or any other religion, like anybody you know that's within that, like latch on to them and have them take you under their wing and be like, okay, can you show me a little bit?
I love that. Thank you for that advice. Sorry, y'all, my light went out. But no, I love that, and I totally agree. I'm glad you did that, and it's crazy how you literally witnessed your miracle and everything was aligning for you.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And the
definitely.
fact that you have the testimony for it, you like, if you didn't have faith before, please have faith
Right. You
now.
definitely,
Yes,
exactly. Now,
yes.
let's fast forward a little bit. Now you're a mom
Hmm.
of three. Okay. We went through, last pregnancy and everything. What was the transition like from even one child to two and then to two to three? Because I know each transition was different, but now you at three.
Mhm.
So how do you feel now?
Every day is different, honestly. Like some days I'm like, okay, I'm tackling this mommy thing. Some days it get the best of me. I'd be like, look, we all just living at this point.
No, for real.
But
Long as they
definitely,
fed, we
all
good.
right. Yes. But definitely I would say from one to two, it wasn't too bad. Like it was like, okay, this is still manageable. But now from two to three, it's like we definitely have to think of more about like where we're going, how we're going, when we're going. And it's like I can't show up to everybody's event like trying to haul around three kids. So
Yeah.
that definitely changed for us, like just being everywhere all the time. Now we're like, okay, we gotta really think it out and plan out our days. And then it's a little bit harder on me just because it's three girls. Like my husband, like I can't do their hair, I can't do nothing pretty much. So I gotta get all them dressed, get me dressed, and he just be sitting there like, y'all ready? So so definitely like I would definitely say just the hair part is a big thing because they are girls. Um
Ooh,
but
I
yeah,
pray
it's
for your hands, girl.
girl. But yeah, I feel like we still like figuring out stuff. Definitely needing more space. Um, we got three bedrooms now, so we going to four bedrooms.
Woo woo.
Like, yeah, we definitely like we need some more space and distance between us because these kids be all up in the mix in our bed, and we like, mm-mm.
So, how do you all make time for yourself with having three young children? Like, how do you have time to be a couple, and how do you make time for just yourself for mommy time? Well, no, not mommy time, for Kayla time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I stress this so much with my friends. Like, give your kids a bedtime. Like,
Shade heavy on
bedtime. Yes,
that.
like by 8:30, I don't care if you go to sleep, but you're going in your
You're
room.
in
Like,
your bed.
yes, like I would definitely say bedtimes are a big thing because it's like y'all are in y'all bed, like it's time for us to wind down because he like my husband's gone all day. He leaves for work at 6:30 in the morning and doesn't come back till 6 p.m.
Oh,
So
yeah.
literally, so it's like he has like that 2.5 hour with the kids, and then we going to bed. Well, trying to go to bed by like 10:30 at the latest, and so
And y'all still
it's
trying to get
like
your time together.
yeah. So literally,
That's
like
hard.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Plus
they have
everything
to
else y'all
have a
got
bedtime.
going on.
The
Exactly.
right, yes. So they gotta have a bedtime. That's that's it. That's all. And like I kind of with like being a therapist, I was able to structure my schedule in a way that works for me. So I do most of my sessions during the day, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays I take two evening sessions But anything outside of that, it's like, nope, it's family time. I can't take you no other evening. Nope, can't do it. So just being being strict in my boundaries and just like, no, I don't work at that time. No. So
Hmm.
definitely just those strict boundaries, that bedtime, and then just outside of like family time or time with my husband, like for myself, I make sure I set my appointment. I put it in our shared calendar. I'm like, so you know, and I know I'm going. So you figure it out.
Cause I'm gonna be gone.
All
Period.
right. And then I try to do, the appointments that you got to do a deposit. So then I be like, I already paid some money. I'm going.
That makes sense. That
No
makes
take back.
sense.
Right.
Do you get a lot of like solo time by yourself like throughout a week or a weekend? Do you get like an hour or two to yourself? Or do you be like, "Ooh, can I
Mm,
get at least an hour just not talking by myself?"
It depends on what's going on. Like if the house is not too chaotic, like it's more time for us to be like, okay, I'm going to go in the room for 30 minutes and just be on Instagram or just read a book. So it depends. But if the kids is having a day, then they be like, okay, we just gotta fight through this until they get in the bed. And so it definitely depends on the day.
I'm working on getting Bun better with his bedtime. I'm working because I be like by 8:30 I really want him to sleep, but because he has it so bad he wants me to go to sleep when he goes to sleep, and sometimes I go to sleep before he goes to sleep. Like I be so tired, I just be like, just he be you sleep, mama? Yes, I'm sleeping.
I will
Sleep.
say bedtimes might mean early mornings, but that might be
See, I'm
good
cool
because
with that.
Yeah.
yeah, so that
I
that
wake
might
up early.
except on the weekends. I'm like, why y'all woke at 6:30? Like,
Like, give us some time.
all right.
Okay, let's see. So Kayla, so basically you talked a little bit about like self-care. What does self-care look like for you?
I feel like something I'm always gonna schedule is like my lashes and my nails. Like those are the two things I'm always like, as long as they done
Non-negotiables.
right. So as long as they done, I'm all right. Now if I get a little shopping in between there, a little reading, I'm okay. But lashes and nails is non-negotiable.
Mandatory.
Okay, okay. Well, I know you gotta go soon, so we got like one more question or two more if anybody else got to pop in. But especially since like having multiple children, having the blessings, can you share any like heartwarming moments that you've experienced as a mom, with your growing family? And also, do you want more children? I
Oh,
know
this
Diamond had a
is a
question about
question.
that.
Yeah, yeah. So heartwarming. I would say like my kids fight all the time. And I think it's because they so close in age, they share a lot of the same stuff. But outside of that, like when they first get home from school and they see each other, they just be like, "Hi, sister," like, and they just be like, "Oh my
Oh,
goodness," or like when they kiss each other goodnight, it be like, "Okay, y'all done destroyed everything all day, but y'all so sweet right now." And I think really like the third girl like really tied them together. Like they love her so much. And I was scared because my second daughter she was so attached to me because she stayed at home with me the whole first 2 years of her life. So I was really scared like having another baby. I'm like, she gonna feel like I abandoned her, but like having the baby, she really loves her. Like so yeah,
I'm
I
not
would definitely
crying, but
say
yeah.
yeah.
I love that.
But yes, I want more kids. I So everybody think I'm crazy, but I be like, I want 6 kids.
Oh my God.
But
who you got three more in you? Okay, girl.
but my husband shut that down real quick. He like, you get one more. That's it. So
He only letting you do one more.
yeah. So
She said,
we're
yeah.
gonna see if it's a boy, but
You gotta
Are
go for
y'all
your
gonna
girl,
boy.
little
plan
boy,
it this time?
we're gonna
Or y'all
try.
just
Because I guess like the not planning it, we getting the same turnout. So maybe if we plan it,
maybe
we
You get
might
the
get.
for
last.
real?
Yeah, yeah.
That's so good.
I love
You are the
that.
bomb.
You are the
Right, Shay
Thank you.
bomb.
really over there.
.com.
Shay
I'm
really over here
sorry,
tearing
I'm
up.
tearing up. This is making me emotional. I
Cause
don't know
being, I feel
why.
like,
I was just gonna say I don't know why every time we record towards the end, sometime in the middle, my eyes just start watering so bad and look like I'm crying, but I'm alive, so we're good.
but that's dope, Kayla. Cause like you, when I say shout out to you, because with this one kid that I have, and I know Shay and Diamond feel the same way. This is a lot. So having three, and then you juggling so many different hats when you're needed. So it's just like, I be looking up to you. I be like, okay, how's she doing?
Girl,
So, but
I
bedtime
be
is key.
hanging on. Right.
'Cause
And I would
you
definitely
are
say
our
just the
age, right? You're the same age as
yeah,
us now, so you got 3 kids doing it big. Like, girl, you inspiration.
thank y'all. Y'all are inspirations too. Even with the one kid, it's hard. Like it's
Thank
definitely hard. And I think people put pressure on us as mothers and just like y'all need to do everything. But definitely have your support system and just ask for help when you need it. Like
you. Yeah,
don't be ashamed, don't be afraid, don't feel like I'm less of a mother. Like be like, I need a break. Like, and that's okay.
it sure is.
That was some great advice to end the
Girl,
episode with. I
it
love
is.
that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kayla.
Thank you, Kayla.
Of course. Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, thanks for sharing your story. And then, so Diamond is going to ask you, I'll just steal a shine real quick. Do you have a mom of the week that you want to shout out?
So the first mom of the week that came to mind was my friend Sherry. I feel like she just had her second baby not too long ago. And so her like trying to transition into having two boys, like she's going through those motions. And so definitely I just want to let her know she doing it. She's stay uplifted. Oh yeah.
Okay, shout out Cherie.
Okay,
Shout
right.
out to you,
Congratulations.
girl.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes. So once again, thank you so much, Kayla, for joining us. Also, send Jazz the name of the doula. That could be our next guest. You didn't put some people.
Yes.
Now we, got more guests coming along. Thank you again. Thank you guys for listening to another episode. Please, please, please make sure you subscribe to our podcast. Tell a friend so they can tell a friend. We appreciate everyone for listening and tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. It will only take a few minutes. Leave us a review also as well. Please make sure you're following us on every social media platform. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter at New Age Mamas. And that's a wrap. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye y'all.